This investor tried to outsmart the market, buy cheap, skip the renovations, and cash out fast. Instead, months on the market and a hard lesson learned in buyer psychology. If you've seen any of my other videos regarding these we buy houses for cash, you know how they do expect a fast turnaround. They usually make a huge profit. This time, it's quite different. There is going to be a second part of this video that not only are you not going to want to miss, but it's going to have you second guessing if you ever want to purchase a property that has been renovated. This property was located in the Albany Park area of Chicago. It was a brick ranch, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, full unfinished basement, had a 2-car garage, and according to the tax records, was just under 1,000 square feet, built in 1924. The investor purchased it, so let me show you what they purchased it for. Okay, you can see here from the public records, they purchased the property April 29th of 2022 for $205,000. Okay, they put the property on the market on May 12th. So not even a month after purchasing it. They had it listed 3 times in the multiple listing service. The first time, the listing description, the price was $289,900. The description said incredible investment opportunity, brick ranch with full basement and 2-car garage, close to all accommodations, including schools, parks, shops, restaurants, and more. Sold as is, not for rent or lease. And only one photo, an exterior photo of the property, which is required for the MLS. Okay, so when they listed it the first time at $289,900, selling it as is, no interior photos, so it doesn't look like they did anything. They were expecting to make a profit of almost $85,000 flipping it, doing absolutely nothing. This is where sellers are always losing money. But this one, the story goes on. Okay, so the second time they put it in the MLS, the price was different. It was $274,900, and they changed the description slightly. Incredible investment opportunity, brick ranch with full basement and 2-car garage, new HVAC installed, close to all accommodations, including schools, parks, shops, restaurants, and more. Sold as is, not for rent or lease. Okay, before I get to the third listing description, I want to give you a timeline of events with this property. They listed it May 12th for $289,900. On May 17th, they put it temporarily off the market. May 18th, they reactivated it. June 16th, they did a price change to $284,900. July 6th, a price change to $279,900. August 11th, canceled and put it back in as a new listing with a price of $274,900. August 31st, they did a price change to $269,900. September 4th, price change to $264,900. September 27th, it goes under contract. October 2nd, it comes back on the market at the same price, and October 4th, it was canceled. I believe then that is the time that they decided to actually do some renovations to the property. That's where we're going to see the interior photos. Okay, Here's the third listing description when they put it back on the market as a new listing on April 6th. Now that's almost a year after they purchased it. They now listed it for $374,900. And here's their new description: updated brick ranch, beautiful new kitchen with all new white soft closing cabinets and drawers, quartz countertops, and all new stainless steel appliances. New popular LVT flooring, which is just vinyl flooring that looks like wood, carpet, and freshly painted throughout. Brand new furnace installed, full basement, and two-car garage. You need to come see this home yourself, close to all accommodations, all that stuff again. But this time, it's not being sold as is anymore. Okay, before we look at the photos of what they did, let me just finish up the timeline for you. Now remember, they had canceled it on October 4th of 2022. Came back on the market April 6th of 2023. So I'm assuming during that time frame is when they did the renovations, which is an awful long time because usually when they do renovations, it's flipped much, much faster. So April 6th of 2023, it was a new listing with interior photos priced at $374,900. On May 4th, they did a price change and dropped it to $369,900. On May 5th, it went under contract. On May 23rd, it came back on the market, so that contract fell through. Came back on the market at $369,900. On May 23rd, it went under contract again, and then finally, June 30th, it closed. Okay, so looking at the photos, it looks nice. I don't think there was much to the kitchen expense-wise for the investor. It was a small kitchen. What I don't know is why they would put this LVT flooring down in the living room and dining room, because the house was built with original oak hardwood floors. Why they wouldn't refinish them. The bathroom, everything looks nice, but I think material wise, it wasn't a lot because it wasn't a huge kitchen. You're not talking a lot of cabinets. You're not talking a lot of counter space. They did put in a new furnace, which I'm surprised, to help with the value, that they wouldn't add central air because the house still has no air conditioning and it's easier to do both at the same time. But it did actually sell. So let me show you the selling price. Okay, we can see here from the public record that it sold for $350,000. Okay, so this wasn't your typical investor flip because of the amount of time they held the property, but they sold it for $350,000. They bought it for $205,000, not taking into consideration the material and fixing it up and all this time holding the property. But number wise, on paper, originally they were hoping to do nothing and sell it for $85,000 more than what they paid. Well, they wound up selling it for $145,000 more than what they paid. So did they profit on it? I don't know, because they held on to it for over a year. They did have the expenses of fixing up the inside instead of selling it as is. So with this one, nobody knows if they made a profit but them. But there's going to be a second part to this. Watch the next video because normally I don't get to see what happens after the buyer purchases it. So make sure you watch the next one.